What's up, guys? This is Jakob. I'm Content AI Manager and host of the show Content AI Show, where I speak with AI experts around the world who are in the content space. And super excited to speak today with Don Bosco. He's the founder of Be Human AI, which is a tool where I actually bought it last week, where I'm also a client, so where you can personalize video messages that you send with the power of AI. So super excited to have you on the show, Don. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Coop. Very good to be here.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we chatted a little bit already. You're located in Istanbul. That's also interesting. But before we dig deep into the futures of the tool that you create, can you give us a nutshell? So who is Don Bosco? Why are the things doing that you're doing? And how did you evolve this idea of creating Be Human AI?
Yeah, well, like pretty much every good idea, right? It comes to you. You don't go to it. So, origin story, I dropped out of school at 19 and I was like, all right, I don't want to work for somebody else, right? I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, so let's make something happen. Tried 10 businesses, 9 fail, 1 works. That was lead generation. So there I was running a lead generation agency. So as you can imagine, doing a lot of outreach, sending out LinkedIn messages, email blasts, the whole 9 yards, trying to book meetings on behalf of clients with usually like executives and directors at large companies. And like so many others, I saw that the space just got so saturated, right? And anyone director, right, at a company is probably getting over 100 reach outs a day, be it through email, through phone, through LinkedIn. And so, I saw that I had to innovate to stay relevant. So, I thought about it, and, Jakub, if I met you on the street and I talked to you directly, looked in your eyes, shook your hand, I wanted to say, hey, can I have 5 minutes of your time, Jakub? I want to talk to you about something that's relevant to you, that's interesting to you, and you're going to get value out of it. More than likely, you're going to say, sure. What do you want to tell me about? Now, if you got an email blast from that, as I'm sure you've gotten probably already this morning, saying basically the same exact thing, you're most likely going to ignore that. Because why? Because in the first scenario, there's a human connection formed where you know that I'm there talking to you. In the second scenario, this email was going out to 10,000 other people, right? So it's not relevant. It's not actually for Jakub. It's for some random list. So I thought about, well, that human connection there, how can I recreate that and do that at scale? If you think about it, all of marketing is pretty much how to answer that question, right? From the first town crier on a soapbox screaming at an advertisement, to the first ad in a newspaper, to the first Facebook ad, right? So now it's all about how can I give out a message to as many people as possible in a way that's that resonates as well as possible. And so, I realized that video as a medium is really interesting because it's something that we take it as a source of truth, right? These days there's Photoshop, right? We know that an image could be altered, but if we see something in a video, right, especially if it's someone talking and there's a human there and they say our name, they say our company, they show our website, they mention what city we're in, all this stuff, right? We pretty much assume as a fact, as long as there's nothing weird looking in the video, that video was filmed just for us. And so there we have that magic element, which is that human connection, right? And so basically, I started to play around with, all right, well, what if I record, back in the lead generation agency days, what if I record 100 video messages and send them to 100 people rather than blasting an email to 1,000 people? And the results were just outlandishly better than, the old techniques.
And yeah, I'm just curious. And you recorded 100 videos and sent it to 100 people?
Oh, there was time for a few months where there was no tech. I was running a lead generation agency. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna record these myself. So I'm gonna hire a team of actors. We're just gonna record these all day long, right? And it was actually working, but it just wasn't scalable, right? It's hard to find good actors. It's expensive, right? And so that's when I thought
it's time consuming, and you have to always say the same things except of the name. So that you're changing the name, but except of that, you're just. I mean, I did it. That's a little bit already forwarding. I trained your AI voice with my. You have to say these 60 phrases, and I was already exhausted after 10 minutes or something. I'm just imagining creating 100 videos like you did in the old days. So it will be anyway.
I mean, it was getting results, so it's kind of like, oh,
yeah,
what we have to do is what we have to do. And you know, a lot of people today still, right? Their boss is like, "Hey guys, we need you to record a vidyard video for every lead we have," and they hate it, they dread it. They just they have to act like they're happy to do this, you know. And so obviously, I saw. Go ahead.
I'm just curious. So why did you? I mean, deepfake tools. There are already deepfake software producers where you can just create your own avatar and record yourself. Was that not an option for you, or was that not on your radar? I'm just curious because I'm thinking in my head now, because I'm also using deepfake tools. Is that something did you say, okay, that's my specialty, I'm using this tool and I'm in the voice cloning AI niche?
Well, you know, the problem with this is going back 3 years ago, so especially that, but still today, the problem with any sort of like avatar tool is that it looks fake, right? Within 2 seconds, and anybody knows that this is some talking robot, right? Now, the whole thing is that human connection. That's really the whole reason we exist.
Okay.
And so therefore, the human connection had to be there. So we were doing them manually. But then, of course, I'm like, all right, we have to scale this with the technology. But the North Star, the number one thing is always do or die. It has to look real. Because if it doesn't look real, there's no human connection. And then we're basically just like, some sort of avatar platform, of which there are probably now, 50 plus out there. Yeah.
Got it. So I think, I mean, I already mentioned this. I'm testing your tool myself currently, and I think it was a very smart move. And one thing that convinced me also to give it a try was the fact that these videos are Vimeo videos, so that I just copy the link and send it to the people that I want to reach out. So there's no downloading of the video, no uploading again on the social media platform like on LinkedIn. I'm just using this link and sending it. And I thought that's very smart. I like that idea. And I'm just curious, was that something intentionally? So is there a cooperation between cooperation between you and Vimeo, or how did this evolve?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, definitely intentional, because, again, I was running my lead generation. See, I was our first user, right? As we were building. And I'm like, all right, I need a way to send this out to people. And of course, we had so many different clients, it had to be unbranded, right? So it had to look, and this all goes back to the human connection. It has to look like, Coop, you just took out your iPhone and you just, filmed a short video of yourself and you upload it and send it out to one person. That's the story we need to tell, but 10,000 times, right? When you process 10,000 videos. That's why we did the Vimeo. I don't know if you saw it yet, but we also have the ability where you could send out the video over email or text message directly from the platform as well. So it even takes that step out of it. So yeah, we're constantly improving the platform and pushing out new updates.
That's cool. Really like it. So who's currently your client base? So is it more for sales teams, for making outreach, or is it for solopreneurs? So who's your ideal client base or your target audience?
Yeah, well, it's a good question. And initially, going back to Bhuman's been around for about 3 years now, and going back to our first 2.5 years, it's been a lot of the outreach, the sales, the marketing, things like that. But very quickly over the past couple of months, it's completely transformed to be totally mixed. Like, we have politicians using this to talk to voters. We have gyms using this to talk to people who haven't been in the gym for 2 weeks, right? Like, yeah, Coop, it's been 2 weeks. Where are you? Get back in here, right?
Yeah, get your ass here into the gym.
And it's such a mixed bag. To we have a real estate group in Santiago, Chile, using this to basically give personalized tours of their apartments to interested buyers and renters. So it's such a mixed bag, because it's all about, again, the product is not AI, the product is not video, the product is human connection, which is relevant in any business.
Yeah, I like that. That's really cool. And I mean, for example, I have a small business, so sometimes I'm hiring people on a freelancer basis. But especially if you're starting, you do everything yourself. You're selling, you're on operation, you're on strategy, and when it comes to selling, one part of it is also following up with people. So there's, I mean, within bigger corporations, there's a lot going on. And one, I saw it as a very good alternative instead of just texting, hey, how are you doing? Just wanted to quickly follow up with my last message, the last 3 or 4 messages that I sent you. And mixing it with a video message, which is personalized, I think is a very good alternative. Yeah, that's also the reason why I thought, okay, I want to try this one.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
Cool.
I think the best way to look at it is if you think about like a customer journey map, right? And everyone, obviously every business has a different map. Most people don't even, they realize this concept subconsciously. They know their user experience, but it's actually such a good practice to sit down, turn off the computer, put your phone away, and just draw out a map of what your average customer experience looks like and like what the points they are that they go through. And you'll find all these inefficiencies by doing that practice that you didn't find before. And then what's nice about Be Human is like through that process, you can be like, all right, somebody books an appointment with us. Well, there's a 10% chance they don't show up. Well, if we send a video 30 minutes beforehand saying like, hey, Yacoub, I'm looking forward to seeing, talking with you in 30 minutes, blah, blah, blah. Then we can reduce that by, X%. And then that's just one small example, but like throughout the whole journey, there are all these points you can put Be Human in an automated fashion to basically supercharge your business and just make everything much more efficient.
Yeah, makes sense. That's cool. So just in a nutshell, so can you explain what is happening when I'm using your tool? So I mean, I now got it so far, so I'm logging in. Maybe I can also do it. So, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. So I'm logging in, and the cool thing is I can create one video, and then I can say something like, "Hey, name, how are you doing today?" And then I can mark name, and then write down, for example, Brian or Don or Thomas or whatever I want, and I record these names and create for each one separate video where I get the Vimeo link basically that I can share with the people that I want to reach out to. That's the basic idea, right?
So exactly, right? You start with that, what we call a template video, which is where the video you film yourself. Like, hey, name, how's it going? I see you're in the city. I'll be there next week. I would love to meet with you. And then second step is you put in your data, whether that's, as you saw, using like the internal spreadsheet we have where you can, put things in or import a CSV, or you can connect it to Zapier, do it that way, automated. And then, like you said, just hit generate, and then out will come, as many videos as you had in your database, specify, of course, personalized for that audience.
Yeah. And are there ways to improve the quality of the, or let's put it another way. So what are common mistakes that you see when people are starting to use, because I mean, we have ChatGPT within the media all the time currently, which is good and bad in my opinion, but that's another topic. And so more people are becoming AI skilled, but still for many people, it's something new. So we need translators who are speaking about these topics. So what are common mistakes when people are using your software, or are there any mistakes that you see all the time?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, one of the major things, because, especially going back even just like a month ago, right? We had a system that was really worked very well, but when you know how to use it only, right? And especially new users, they'll dive in, skip the instruction manual, and I would do the same thing. Who likes to read instructions, right?
We're human.
Yeah. And they'll just start making this and like, oh man, like I'm not, something's not going right. Either the voice cloning is off, or the mouth movements is off, or they're missing, they don't understand how to declare variables, all these things. So kind of like ChatGPT, like it takes a little bit of getting used to understanding how the AI reacts to different things you throw at it. Now, we're constantly making this simpler and better. Like if you came into the platform 2 months ago, Yacoub, it would take you, 5 times as long to figure it out.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, just because there were so many more like rules that you have to follow to get a good result. And as the technology improves, we have so many amazing PhDs and engineers in the team working on this 24/7. But as the technology improves, it just gets easier and easier. But still, of course, today, right, there's basically 3 rules to follow. And if you follow these rules, you're going to get good results. The first rule is to be a couple feet away from the camera. And again, this is always changing and getting better. Usually like 3 or 4 feet. You don't want to be too close. The second rule is when you clone your voice, right? You want to make sure that the mic you use and the room you're in when you clone your voice is the same as when you do your video recording. Because, for example, like the room I'm in right now, it echoes a little bit, right? And if I clone my voice here and then go outside, there's going to be different acoustics to my voice, right? And so the voice cloning picks all that up, and so that's important to keep in mind. And the last rule is just to keep your variables in short phrases. Hey name, perfect, right? Because we're going to be basically generating when you say hey name, when you select name. If you had a phrase that's like, hey name, how's it going? This is Don, I want to talk to you. And you speak so fast, right? Then the AI is going to get so confused because it's like, all right, there's too many words here, right? So it takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you get the hang of it, it's just so powerful.
Yeah, I broke already rule number 2. So, yeah. So I recorded my voice with this here.
Yeah.
But when I make the phone, I'm recording with the phone.
Yeah.
And then I don't use mic. So I'm just using my mobile phone and not this one. So that's the reason why it's when the name is pronounced, it's louder than saying the rest of the text that I spoke in. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And like perfect example, like we're working on some things where that's not as important anymore to do that. But at least today, right, it is important that you have the same environment during those 2 things.
Got it. Okay. Cool. What's the roadmap looking like? So what are your plans for the next 1.5, 2 years with Be Human?
Yeah, well, that's a pretty long time range. I'll tell you in the next couple months, what we're really about is solidifying the core of our technology. So putting a ton of resources onto improving the core AI, especially the voice clone and the whole face cloning, which is, changing how your mouth moves and everything. So doing a lot of work there. In fact, we have actually probably tomorrow, we're pushing a new update on the voice cloning. In 2 weeks, a new update on the face cloning. So improving the core, as well as we're pushing out a new revamp for the UI, which will make everything much more intuitive and also give us the ability to put in a lot more analytics. So you'll be able to see things like, all right, I sent out, say, 1,000 videos today to prospects, and I know that these 100 watched it. Maybe this guy watched it 24 times, which means he probably forwarded around, which actually happens a lot. So you get into the nitty-gritty insights of how your videos are actually performing. As well as custom landing pages. So users can basically put in, they have the video, the personalized video, then under it, maybe they want to collect an email address, maybe they want to have a custom input field, they want to have a Calendly embed, all that's possible. So yeah, we have a ton of features we're working on. What I would say is really, really exciting, this is probably coming out, let's say roughly 2 to 3 months from now, is something called Persona, which basically gives you the ability to have a conversation like we're having right now, except I'm not actually here, but I look completely fluid, right? You can see me blinking, moving, I'm answering your questions correctly. You're asking me a question, I'm searching my knowledge, I'm giving it back to you. We're having that back and forth. That is, super exciting because basically it allows us to really scale ourselves, which is what Be Human is all about.
That's nice. But where's the difference then between deepfake and what you guys are doing? Or is there any difference? I'm just thinking loudly.
Yeah, so when you think about a deepfake, right, what that is you're taking a video and you're, altering it in some way. And that's something that you're spending a lot of time on. The way I like to explain it is like, think of a deepfake as like, Leonardo da Vinci painting a masterpiece. He's spending hours on it. The computer's doing the work, like legwork, of course, but there has to be a human to sort of drive it, right? Mm-hmm. To be like, all right, that render was bad, let's redo it. Or, we have to map the face, we have to get manual with it, right? So, there's tons of deepfaking tools if you want to like change what someone is saying in one video, but it's going to take time and work and stuff. And it's not really scalable, and it doesn't fit into any like products, any workflow. What Be Human is all about, like we're more like a printing press, right? So we're meant to, you hop into the platform, you record a video for 25 seconds, and you click a few buttons, and out comes 10,000 unique videos. That's what we're all about. That with a deepfake is impossible because of all the manual work that goes involved. Now, of course, deepfake is a branch. You could think of it as like a branch within AI, right? And so obviously we're still using, we're using AI, right? So there's commonalities, but the approach is very different.
Mm. Yeah, I think it's interesting. So I'm publishing my new book this year on May the 1st. It will be available on Amazon, and I speak about the 5 territories of AI, and these are text, image, video snippets, deep fake, and audio. But yours is interesting because it's a mixture of audio and video, but it's me still. So it's really interesting that so some kind of hybrid, so to say, to use it, and it's cool. But I really like it, and I'm curious about the results that I'm getting. So I already tested and sent it to a couple of people, but yeah, we will see.
Nice, excellent.
Cool. So how big is your team?
We're about 30 people right now.
Okay, in remote completely, or you're in Istanbul now?
Yeah, so we try to build a hub here in Istanbul when we can. There's some amazing universities here and great talent here, so building a little culture here in Istanbul. But yeah, I would say a lot of our team is remote as well.
Okay, cool. And why Istanbul?
Great question. I mean, the started with me coming here, just traveling, visiting friends, and just having a great time and loving it, and then just slowly getting introduced to a lot of the universities here, because the universities in Istanbul, the top 3 especially, they're teaching MIT course material. So you get incredible talent, and they're just as quote unquote educated and smart as any Ivy League school, but they have this this hunger to them, and they're really excited to work on something that is so groundbreaking like Bhuman. And so yeah, we basically built a culture and a team around that and around that talent base.
Yeah, nice. But come on, it's because of the food. Come on, say it, don't. It's because of the food. It's
also the cafes are fantastic.
You're basically from the US, right? From you mentioned New York.
From New York, yeah.
New York, okay. Yeah, interesting. So, yeah, you will never know where you will land with your business. Interesting, cool, awesome. So, if people want to know, so for example, you mentioned a guide. So there is something that I can read, or where do you share product updates or things like that? Do you have a Discord channel that you use or something like that?
Yeah, so we have, in terms of like guides and help materials, we have a help center with probably over 100 articles at this point, like how-to articles. We have a YouTube channel with how-to video walkthroughs. We do have a little Discord as well that is just meant for like, I'll add you to it. It's like for, we share more private things there, like, questions like, hey, what kind of feature is more important to you, right? To help decide on our roadmap and things like that, and give users access to beta features so they can test it, let us know what they think. So I'll add you to that as well. But yeah, I mean, we'll update everyone over email when we push out new features. Actually, in the platform itself, we put messages and notices about updates. So one way or another, you'll hear from us, and most likely with a personalized video.
Yeah, that's really cool. The whole discussion, I mean, I mentioned this already about ChatGPT. I think it's good and bad. It's good that I don't have to explain so much what I'm doing. It's bad because it's getting more crowded. So people all of a sudden, everybody is an AI expert nowadays. It feels at least like this. And people are coming to me and saying, who are you that you think you're an AI expert? So, things like that. Weird stuff. I mean, I'm not doing this since yesterday. I'm 1.5 years within this niche on content AI. And so is it good, in your opinion, good or bad that I think we are not at the peak of this AI discussion, I think, because there's also GPT-4 which is coming. So what are your thoughts about this whole discussions currently about ChatGPT?
Well, it's bound to happen, right? I mean, it's an unstoppable force, and anyone in AI knew this 5 years ago, right? We didn't know when it would happen. We don't know if it's in 5 years or 15 or 30, but we knew that it's a certainty that this will basically become a tool that is you can't go without, right? In almost every facet of life. And it's kind of funny, as I'm sure you've observed, Jakub, there's like this hype cycle with technology. Like blockchain went through this, crypto went through this, AI is going through this / went through this. where it's like
several times already. I mean, we had also AI winter.
Second, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Where basically it's like it's out in the media, everyone's talking about it, it's really hot, and then it kind of goes underground because it didn't meet the hype that people were giving to it, you know. And then you wake up like a couple years later, and holy shit, it's in everything. And you know, it's I think AI is going to be that same way, where it's like right now it's in the hype cycle and it is getting integrated to a lot of things, but especially you know going 3 years out from now, like every single company will be using AI, every platform will be using AI. It'll be a game changer.
I think, or I mean, if you use a face recognition on your mobile phone, you are using already AI to some degree. If you use Mailchimp and you're asking Mailchimp, when should I use this? When should I send this email broadcast? Then Mailchimp is based on AI technology, giving you suggestions on the data points that it already collected, giving you suggestions when to send this email broadcast. I mean, I think it's already around us, but so far people weren't aware of it. I think that's a big thing. And it's one thing to use a tool and not be aware of AI and intentionally saying, okay, today I'm going to use AI. I think it feels, for many people, it feels completely different. But I think, like you said, I would sign to that one. Many people will be very used to use AI on the daily day, on your daily business day, for doing things easier and faster. So I think this will come out.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Cool, man. So where can people find more information about you and Be Human?
Yeah, so behuman.ai, sign up, give it a spin, and let us know if you have any questions at all in the live chat. But otherwise, you know, we're on.
Is there free trial?
Free trial, so you can go ahead and try it for 7 days.
Cool.
Yeah, and just know, like as you saw, Jakub, there's a little bit of learning curve, but it's super powerful once you get it. Otherwise,
yes, there's always a learning curve. I mean, if you type with 2 fingers and you're typing, you're learning to type with. I mean, you're laughing, but you're learning to type with 10 fingers. There's also a learning curve, but in the long term, I think it's more efficient when you, especially if you're creating a lot of content and text.
Unquestionably, right? So otherwise, find us on YouTube, LinkedIn,
cool.
And yeah.
Awesome. Is there anything else that you want to share? Something that I didn't ask so far?
No, I think that pretty much covers it. I mean, like I said, next steps for us is to continue to, roll out the technology and make things simpler and easier all around. We will be raising a round in the next couple months here. So continuing to scale and grow. Cool. But yeah, just doing what we do best and serving our customers.
Yeah. Is there a specific area, or I mean, this is a topic for globally, but is there an area where you want to focus on, American clients or European clients or something, or specific countries?
Yeah, no, I mean, I would say right now, at least 25% of our users don't use the platform in English. They're using it in German, French,
interesting.
Whatever. Yeah. So there's been a lot of demand outside the US that was, I would say, unexpected. But, we're definitely, making sure the platform works for them as well. So this is, I think it's kind of like reflective of the business world and just sort of the democratized tech world we live in today, where it's not so much, okay, we're going to start with the US, we're going to add Europe, and then we're going to go from there. It's just everyone, whoever the early adopters are, whether it's someone in Egypt or someone in New York.
Mm-hmm. So that's interesting. So just maybe it's a technical question, but so I'm using, for example, GPT-3 for creating blog articles in English, but also in German. And is the voice, the transcript creation. So I'm uploading on Be Human AI my video, and then I get already the transcript. Is this something GPT oriented, based on GPT-3 technology, or is this completely your own technology behind in the back end?
So when you record a video and write down what you say, right? So you can then select the very part. No, that's not using GPT. Basically what that's doing is it's speech to text, right?
Speech to text, okay.
Yeah, so we're taking what you said, or we're writing it down, and we can do that. So we're doing that like you saw in English, but it'll work for almost any language. Definitely any major language, right? We had like a couple like dialects.
Sounds like a challenge.
Yeah. So, and in fact, like it's kind of, I mean, it's AI, so it's almost like we don't always know how it's going to perform, So sometimes our users are like, hey, it does work in this Indian dialect I didn't know existed. So,
yeah.
But yeah, it should definitely work in every major language.
That's cool. So yeah, I will definitely try. You guys tried it in Turkish language also, in Turkey, in Istanbul.
Yeah, for sure. We've had team members here try it and everything.
That's cool. I like it. So yeah, we'll definitely give it a try in German language. So that's interesting. Yeah, I think the affiliate partnership would be would make sense. So I have to go. Yeah, I have to brainstorm a little bit again, and then we'll come back to you.
Sure.
Awesome, man. I appreciate your time
Cool.
and giving us insights about Be Human AI. So if this is interesting, so especially I think if you're reaching out to many people, following up on a consistent basis, I think that's a good mix to your content plan that you're creating, and it's video, so more people recognize you, see you. I think that has a lot of value. So I'm definitely tested these couple weeks and play around with that one. Awesome.
Excellent.
Thanks for watching. If there's any questions, so far I didn't saw any comments, but just let us know. Just type it into the comment section and I can forward to Don Bosco. Thank you for your time. Just stay in line, Don. We have a short chit chat after the live session, and yeah, see you hopefully next time. Thank you and bye-bye.